Hi, I'm Jim Hennessy with Montreal County Ag Agency, and today we're going to talk about forage testing or testing your hay and the easiest way to go about it. A couple of reasons why we test hay. First of all, we need to know the nutritional value of our hay, whether we're comparing alfalfa to a brome grass or straw, or whether we're using like a silage-based ration. Second reason is so that we can put a value on it as far as dollar value if you're going to sell it. Third reason we test hay, sometimes we look for reasons like nitrates, different things like that that can be toxic. So we'll test hay for that also. So the process of testing hay is quite simple, and we're going to go through that today. So to be able to take and test hay, we need a few tools. First of all, the main tool we're going to have is we need our hay probes. There's two different types of hay probes. We have basically the Penn State sampler, which can go into a drill. It's a simple tube. It's got a coring bit on the end, so we can core with. We pop the button, and we have our hay will be inside the tube, and we push it out with a stick. They're quite easy to use. I prefer this of all the testers that we have. The other option is a Penn State on the old brace and bit. This is what we used to use. Always offered to producers when they come in if they want to take the brace and bit, and most time they will take just the tube so they can hook it up to their drill and test that way. This takes a lot of manpower, but kind of an antique. I had to show it. Last is the Coster type sampling tube, and basically how this works is same thing. It's got a bit, tube, and then as you push it in with your tube, you push it to an open slot in the tube that dumps it in the bag. So you can take multiple samples, coring bales, and then just keep pushing it in the bag till you get enough. The idea is good, but sometimes it's not always that easy when you've got everything hanging there and you're trying to drill into a bale. So it's preference on what you like. So as you're coring the bale and going around getting your samples, I usually like to look at, say if I got 100 bales in the field, I want to pull samples on at least 8 to 10 of them, and then mix them up either in a box or you can do it in a pail. And then when you mix them, we can take and turn around and either put them in the bags that they send through the company. And for example, we use Dairyland, and real simple, we get a good analysis on it. But I'll use those bags, or I'll put them in a gallon bag, and then that way I've got them stored so they're, sealed properly. So the big question a lot of producers have is, when do I sample? The important time to sample is right before you feed it or right before you sell it. If we sample a certain product, for example, if we got alfalfa bales and we sample them right after we harvest them or put them in the bale, the problem we have, it may go through a sweat and it may change the nutrient content. So we want to sample it right before we're either going to sell it or we're going to feed it. And then that way we know what we've got. The second most important thing is we need to keep like lots together. For example, if I'm on a 40-acre field like what this is, and I've got, maybe 100 bales here, what I probably want to do is keep those 100 bales together and keep them as a lot. If I've got a grass hay that comes from a different area, that'll be another lot. If I've got another field of alfalfa, that's going to be a separate lot from the one we got here, because there's going to be differences. The other thing is when we mark our bags, take a permanent marker, make sure you put your name across the bag, date that it's sampled, lot and location where it was pulled from, and where you have it stored. I know it sounds like a lot of information, but it's important information. A lot of times once we put those bales in the stacks, we start to forget where they come from, have we sampled them, and you know, what the content is. So it's important that we keep all that information. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to show you as far as the bale coring process. Okay, when we get into the bale coring process, the important thing we want to do is, if we're dealing with round bales, big squares, or small squares, we always want to go in on a round bale on the twine side. We do not want to go in on the side where it's rolled up, but always on the twine side on a round bale. As far as the big squares and small squares, we want to go on their butt ends. In other words, we don't want to go on the side where the stalks are sticking out or the top of the bale. We want to go on the butt end of it. That way we get a good core. As far as the coring process, basically we're going to walk up, we'll peel some of that weathered stuff off. We get to the greener part, we're going to put our bale core into that, and then we're going to use the old one just to show you how it works. And most of you will never use this because it requires quite a bit of heft, and it also is tiring trying to get enough cores. Basically, you're just going to core into it, turning into it, and you'll go into your bale that way. If we're using the drill one, it's attached on it, I'd recommend an 18 volt or bigger. This one's a 20 volt, so it'll work nice. Bale cores are in the office. We have 5 different ones, so you can come in and get them and rent them. The Ag Improvement puts them together so that we've got them there for producers to borrow. So we'll take our drill. And usually we can go the full 18 inches in and pull it all the way in. Product that we're sampling is in the tube. We go in the bit end, and we can take our core, and we just basically can push it out. And then basically what we'll do is go around the field, we'll pull our 10 samples, mix it up, and we can put it in the bag. So once again, Penn State sampler, like this one the best, I personally do. Some people like the Coster type one where it puts it in the bag automatically for you. But the simple process, make sure you go on the twine side, peel the hay back, you can take your drill and drill into it. If it's big square, you're going to go in the butt ends, same with small square. It's the same type of tube, but up here on the end it's got an open gap. It's got a shield around it, and then you can mount a bag to it so you can take multiple samples. This is a 24-inch tube, so it's quite a bit longer. It's got a different type of bit, probably not as good a bit as what you see on the Penn State. So instead of putting it into your pail, you grab your plunger and we'll push product down, and then it just dumps into the bag. Now, it seems like with 24 inches drilling into one bale, we should get quite a bit, but it does take quite a few bales to get enough for a sample, and it should be thoroughly mixed. Basically, once again, we'll peel the dried aged stuff off.